Alright, so this is going to be the analytical part of my project, and I'm just going to kind of go over in a little more depth um, different aspects and significance of um, different parts of my project. So I'm going to start with the location, and I filmed this project about 100 yards from my house in this state forest. And if I made a cognitive map of what it looked like in an aerial view, you would have that abandoned building that I walked through to begin with a road and a pathway. The road is dirt, okay, but this pathway and this dirt road all lead to the one paved road that runs right by my house. And I looked at this. I actually drew out the map and I looked at it, and I said, this building is completely engulfed in a natural habitat and forest and everything. And a little background on the building: it was actually a radar tower during World War II. It was active during World War II and has been abandoned for 50 or 60 years. It's kind of just been it's just been sitting up there. It's a pretty big part of my childhood. But anyways, now as I was saying, as you look at this, this building is being completely engulfed in forest, and reading Walt Whitman's this particular stanza of Walt Whitman's Song of Myself, he is praising modern society, technology, and people that shaped it. Obviously, this is during 1855, so times have changed, but the mentality is the same. And I have a different viewpoint personally. And this map is a huge representation of my mentality. It's basically showing that this man-made structure came from the environment. So all these advances, trace them back as long as you want, but it's going to come back to the environment. Everything had to come from somewhere, and I think comes from nature. So as Walt is praising the human, I would be praising the environment. That's just my own standpoint. But in another aspect, I do agree with them. I mean, the advances in my society have been incredible, and it's just, you can't help but thank these people for what they've done, and the scientists, the mathematicians, the geologists, like Walt explains, and even the explorers who have made conquests and laid out land. And it's the advances that have come over the years are just unfathomable. But and then I looked at this as a kind of a timeline. Now, this radar was fairly new around that time, around World War II, and if you look at it, it's completely abandoned, and we've been using radar for a very long time. And then if you go back to Whitman's time, the mid 1800s, he would think that this would be space. It would be space age to these people. It'd be something that they could not think of. It's nothing that they've ever heard of. It's nothing that they've ever even dreamed about having in their society. And it just shows how time advances. Now we live in 2012, and we look back at that old hunk of crap, and and we think of, wow, that's really old. All the things in here are so old, and all the instruments and everything that they used are still in there. They didn't take anything out. No, it's just it's all broken and rusted, but it's very primitive to us. And in Walt's time, those things would have been it would have blown his mind and blown the people of his time's mind. It's kind of interesting if you think about it, how people of his time would react to to react to like what we have now, and even that, I mean, that's 60, 70 years old. But and I could see where he's getting at. He's praising these people for the advances that have come about, and he even says, "Hurrah for positive science! Long live exact demonstration! Fetch stone crop mixed with cedar and branches of lilac. This is the lexicographer. This is the lexicographer. This is the chemist. This made a grammar of the old cartouches. These mariners put the ship through dangerous unknown seas. This is the geologist. This works with the scalper, and this is the mathematician." And he's just giving praise to the people who have made these advances in his society. But I go back to my previous point. I think that the environment and nature is what humans should be praising, because without that we wouldn't have made these advances. So, boy, that's kind of a different point. I'm gonna talk about my favorite line of the stanza, and I would have to choose the one that goes like this: "I accept reality and dare not question it." Now, you know what, I do live in the past occasionally, but I think this does represent me. I am accepting of how things play out, because I don't have a choice. You can't dwell on. I feel like you can't dwell on certain things. Now, this is very hard for me to do, but I feel like as a person, this is something I need to work for. I need to work up to being realistic and live in the moment, because I never do, but I need to. And I know it's a constant goal for me to not dwell on previous events that have occurred, good or bad, and just constantly think about what's happening right now in this moment. And I think that Walt is the perfect example of someone who would do that. He's praising these people who have made his society right then what it was, and I think that's a great thing to do. I think that's what people need to do in our society more. We need to think about what's happening right now and think about what we have right now and just live in that moment. Overall, I think this poem, I had an interesting experience with it. This stanza specifically, because at first I was like, this doesn't sound like me. I can't agree with it. But then I thought, I always tried to be someone who would live in the moment. It's been a very difficult thing, but I think it's something that I need to work for. And Walt completely conveys that in this stanza. He's praising the people who have shaped his society as it was right then, as he was writing it. And that's living in the moment. And, I respect that greatly. And I think it's something that we should all try to do. And so that kind of concludes my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.